Zombies in space, because that's what this episode is all about. I'm not spoiling anything by saying that, but I am going to spoil the whole episode here in a minute, so get ready. I don't do spoiler free. One of the things I've always appreciated about Strange New Worlds is that this version of Star Trek is not afraid to blend many different genres. We've had hard science fiction episodes, we've had political episodes, we've had episodes talking about genocide and racism, we've had episodes that have humor in them, we've had episodes that are straight up hardcore science fiction. We've had episodes that have Easter eggs and throwbacks to other Star Trek shows. We've had the musical episode. And today we get horror, which they've done before. I think really I first commented on this during season two when we were dealing with the Gorn. There was really that sort of like alien vibe, like we were in an alien film. And we're sort of back there again with this episode in more ways than one. So you've had your spoiler word alert. Everything from this point moving forward is going to be about this episode. So make sure you've watched it first before you continue any further. You've been warned. So essentially, this episode is about the um, it's Pike's relationship essentially is at the core of this with his partner. We start off, she's about to go back to her command, and he walks in and finds her passed out on the floor of his cabin. She goes back into the doctor. Mbenga says, "Look, that Gorn thing she's got in here, it's now resisting this serum, and she's only got a few days. We got to figure out a solution." And they start branching out, and they find that there's this old Klingon, uh, or old world, excuse me, where there was a research facility that has this plant that might help, but it's in the restricted zone, which means if they go there, they risk this treaty with the Klingons. And ultimately, Pike's like, well, we're obviously going to go there. So that becomes the whole mission. Now, the Gorn, even though we've kind of gotten rid of the Gorn threat in the first episode, the Gorn are still very much at the core of this because there's two things that go on in this episode. One of which is, if you remember Erica's looking into the glass out her starport window and seeing like the Gorn behind her, she starts being incredibly insubordinate during this episode. She's got this trauma going on inside of her. Something is going on that is pushing her and bringing this. You know, I was captured. I'm not going to let anybody else get captured. We'll get to that in a minute. Because at the same time, Pike's girlfriend is dealing with the Gorn infestation inside of her as well, which pushes them to take this risky maneuver of going to this laboratory in restricted space. So Pike and Mbenga go um, because they're the only two that can do this, right? And Pike doesn't want to let anybody else accept responsibility. So they go off to this planet, and the Enterprise stays back in orbit. On the way in, they come across a Klingon communication device, basically sending out a warning that says, don't go any further, risk of death. They get down to the planet and they find out that the first thing they find is like a dead Klingon skeleton, dead Klingon remains, and who knows what it is. They get into the laboratory and they find out that everybody's dead, right? And as they're in there looking through the computer and trying to figure out what's going on, what they don't know is that a Klingon ship has come into orbit above the planet. And it hasn't seen the Enterprise, so the Enterprise decides to hang back and wait because they don't want to initiate uh, any sort of action that would break the treaty. So the Klingon battlecruiser hasn't seen them, so they're like, we're just going to wait. Well, the Klingon battlecruiser sends a shuttle down and blows up the shuttle that Pike and Mbenga had taken to the planet, and a hunting party gets off, led by a Klingon warrioress and her two guys, and they start chasing Pike and Mbenga through this facility. They get down to the bottom, and they find a bunch of dead scientists, and as they're down there, here come the Klingons. They have a bit of a stalemate where the Klingons catch them by surprise, Pike and Mbenga have to lower their weapons. And as this is going on, suddenly these creatures come out of the woodwork and attack the Klingons and kill one of the guys. And Pike and Mbenga start running for their lives along with the other two Klingons, and they sort of split directions. There's a really humorous moment in here where Pike and Mbenga are in a safe spot, and they're going through this computer, and they're talking about, the fact that one of the things they found when they first arrived was that there are no life signs on this planet, only flora. There's no fauna. There's no life signs whatsoever of any kind. And Mbenga is really reluctant to use the Z word. He really doesn't want to say zombies. And Pike's like, but these are literally like zombies, man. Like, they're eating living tissue, and yet they aren't alive. And Mbenga's like, nope, nope, not zombies. But there really are zombies. Um, so there is a lot of core, sort of the action sequences here are them dealing with the zombies, and then also the Klingons that are there as well. Which we come to find out, the warriors who has come to this planet is this daughter of the ambassador that Mbenga killed. I think it's season 2, who was an ex-Klingon warrior and had fought across the war from him. And that was a traumatic episode for Mbenga. Pretty sure it was season 2. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years, so I'm thinking it was season 2. Even if it wasn't season 1, season 2. And she's come back because turns out that he was a traitor to the Klingons, and she had been sent out to assassinate him to earn honor back for her family. But when Mbenga assassinated her father in her stead, he robbed her of that honor, so she's here to take him out. And it's complicated. There's Klingon honor at stake here. Um, Ultimately, uh, she ends up deciding, Mbenga convinces her that, there's, he fights her and forfeits, and she's pissed off, and she decides to earn her honor by fighting the zombies and dying while these two escape, while Pike and Mbenga escape. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. And as this is happening, the Klingon warship is firing at the Enterprise, and um, this is where things get fun, because while they're waiting in space, um, number two gives an order, or number one, I should say, she gives an order that Erica only should use 1.8 impulse power or whatever, and it would put them on a course for the planet within 6 hours and not be seen by the Klingons. But instead, she only reduces it to 1.6 and directly insubordinates against her commanding officer, which puts them into a confrontation with the Klingon vessel, which risks the lives of everyone. And they end up having a firefight, which they do escape right after they get the two officers off the planet. And this is when she gets called in with number one, and she gets a reprimand. She's being taken off of the roster for 2 weeks and being sent to like training on how to take commands. And she realizes she messed up, but at the same time she's really pissed. And I don't know if this is because her whole argument was she didn't want to see these guys get captured by the Klingons. And she seems to be traumatized with the fact that she was captured by the Gorn. And that may be legitimate. She may be dealing with just PTSD, or she may have, because she got stabbed. Remember, like, she got stabbed by one of the Gorns. So I don't know if she's just dealing with PTSD, or if she actually has something Gorn inside of her that's provoking these feelings of insubordination. I don't know. I would think it would be overkill to have her also dealing with a Gorn infestation when Pike's girlfriend is also dealing with a Gorn infestation in her body. And the fact that, by the way, the plant they get off this rock is going to hybridize the Gorn DNA in her system and somehow make that a part of her and hybridize it so that she's part human, part Gorn, and could thus survive. He's not happy about it, but she made the decision. I don't know where this is going to go. We have lots of season left ahead of us, so it'll be interesting to see. But another great episode, as always. This was a very action-packed episode. Um, Also, Pike's hair. I just have to give it up to the um, to the hair and makeup department because going through everything they went through on the planet, and that humid environment, tropical environment, and never once was even a single strand um, out of array. Masterful use of hairspray, people. I had a great time. Looking forward to next week's episode. Let me know your thoughts. Drop them down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And of course, daily streams at 4:35 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch. See you in the next one.